Growing up, I never really played many competitive games, either in person or online, because I don't particularly enjoy winning, but I really don't like losing. So there was just never really much of an appeal to it. Also, I'm just naturally extremely bad at video games. I've mentioned this in the past. I have a manual dexterity problem, like a moderate one, not a severe one, but my reaction times are just really bad, and so is my like visual spatial sense. I also part of that I don't know if it's called executive functioning or if it's called still called a nonverbal learning disability, but I have trouble translating thought into direct action, which is why you'll often see me just with really weird spellings of things or just other kind of strange stuff. It's not exactly dyslexia, but it's somewhat similar. So, like I said, I never really enjoyed it. I'm naturally bad at video games. The only thing I really played somewhat competitively was World in Conflict, which I was pretty good at. I played armor, and I was normally best armor when I was playing it. But recently, I've been wanting to maybe just try out playing an online game in kind of a competitive ladder fashion, just to kind of do something different. And I'm an RTS fan, even if I'm bad at them. And I figured I'd give Starcraft 2 a try because I enjoyed the campaign a lot. I liked the gameplay. The matches are fairly short. The problem with something like Age of Empires is the matches just go on for like an hour. And it's just kind of something. I just find it too slow and boring to play online, whereas StarCraft is normally 5 to 15 minutes. So I started kind of getting into it. I read a bunch of guides. I watched a bunch of. You see these on YouTube a lot, Bronze to GM or Low APM Challenge or stuff like that. And so I started playing the game online. I tried the different races. I don't have the APM or kind of the physical coordination to play Zerg. So I just kind of went with Protoss because I liked their units and I liked the gameplay style. And it's been very much a mixed bag. I found once I got kind of a basic build order down, I got out of bronze pretty quickly. Or actually, it put me in silver 1 to start off with, and then I just got immediately curb stomped by everybody for like 20 games. Then I started to gradually win, and I eventually made it up to gold 3. I just find that I'm back at back at silver 1. What I find is just that as much as I love the game and I enjoy it, the matchmaking system is just so bad it almost makes the game unplayable for me. So I suck at the game. I'm readily aware that I'm bad at StarCraft. My issue is a lot of the time I'm not put up against other players who suck. There's a couple reasons for this. Oftentimes, if I win like 1 or 2 games, they'll just me up against like gold 1 or platinum players or people who are way above my skill level. Even in terms of their MMR, they'll just be a lot higher level than me. I am pretty sure most online games try to force a 50% win rate. So if you win a couple of games, they will put you up against opponents that are completely out of your league and will crush you. And if you lose like 5 to 10 games, they'll give you a string of opponents that are way below your skill level. I don't like that personally. I'd rather just play against opponents of a similar skill level to me. I think that's a better learning experience. The community, I find, tends to say that you learn more when you get completely destroyed in like the first 3 minutes of the game and you don't know what's happening than if you try to play it if you play against someone of a similar skill level. The other big thing is, I'm not sure if any of you are aware of the concept of a smurf. So a smurf is somebody from a high level league, be it platinum, diamond, or masters, who either just continues to create a string of new accounts, so their matchmaking rating is always low, or they will just deliberately leave games until they get down to silver or gold league. And because there's someone with like high level skill set up against new or bad players, they will just completely crush them in like 3 to 4 minutes. And they'll go for normally a cheese build or some sort of weird build or a humiliation build. And if you look at their profiles, there'll be like 10 games in a row where they leave within the first minute of the game. And then there'll be like 10 games in a row where they just crush their opponent in like the first 4 to 5 minutes. And I've seen a lot of people, particularly people who kind of shill for this, who say it's not that common. I'd say probably about 20 to 30% of my games are against Smurfs. Like a lot of them I will just get crushed and there's absolutely like nothing I can do. And when I go and look at their profile, it'll say Diamond. And then I'll see they have like a bunch of games like that. So, and Blizzard doesn't really care about that. If anything, I think they kind of support it. So that's kind of an issue. And then just a lot of the rest of it is just cheesing, where people will cannon rush you or proxy rush you or something like that. And I get that that's part of the game, but I just don't find it particularly fun. I find the majority of games I actually lose is either due to Smurfs or cheese. One of the things with cheese is I find the build guides do not do a very good job of explaining how to deal with cheese. And they basically, all the build guides tell you to do macro builds, which just get destroyed by cheese. Like 3 minutes in, they'll just show up with like 5 or 6 Reapers and you lose the game. So I've had to kind of tweak them, which makes them less efficient, but I find the only times I can win is by not following build guides exactly and building like static defenses or something. Because like if you're up against Zerg players, I find they will always cheese you pretty much. Terran will almost always do medevac drops at 4 to 5 minutes. And if you're playing a macro build, I find you just don't have enough units at that point in time. And you just kind of get destroyed. So I just think like the game is just not very new player friendly. And once again, I know it sounds like I'm making excuses for sucking. My issue isn't even that I suck and that I'm losing. It's that I feel like a lot of the time I'm just not put up against people of similar skill level. I'm pretty sure Magic the Gathering Online also does this, where it tries to force a 50% lose rate. So you will just sometimes be put up against people who are just way above your skill level, and they will just completely crush you, and you'll often get like 5 or 6 matches in a row like that. And once again, I want to be put up against people with a similar MMR to myself who aren't Smurfs. I could even accept being cheesed as much as I am, provided I'm being cheesed by people of similar skill level. But if you're getting cheesed by people in like Platinum and Diamond and Masters, they're able to do it a lot more efficiently than most people in the lower leagues. So whenever I get to play an actual game, like against someone of a similar skill level, I have a lot of fun. There's back and forth. I don't even really mind that much if I lose and it's been like a match where I feel like I can do something. I don't find it fun when I lose in the first 3 minutes to someone who's obviously been playing the game for years and is just there to try to bully and drive people out of the game. The community is not the worst. I don't think it's as bad as the FromSoft community, but there is a lot of gatekeeping, and there is the general impression that you should just be able to beat people who are in Diamond League if you have a good build order. Which I have found that to not be the case. Other people's mileage may vary, but I generally find the build orders that they give you in the guides are helpful, but if you do them exactly the way they tell you to do them, you just immediately get killed by cheese, because they're just kind of too slow to really deal with it. So it's a game I enjoy. I might still try playing it, but it's just extremely frustrating. Given how the matchmaking works in it. Once again, I understand that I suck at this game. I understand I'm not good at it. I just want to be put up against other players of a similar skill level to myself. And I don't like it when matchmakers force you to win or lose 50% of games. I'd rather just have it natural. Like once you reach a certain point, you're just going to start winning or losing 50% of games naturally when you kind of reach what your current skill cap is. I don't see the need to either throw people who don't even know what they're doing half the time, and half the time throw you up against people who are obviously way above your skill level. So that's kind of my issue with online games in general. That's why I think that's probably one of the reasons I've never really gotten into them. Because I was always afraid that I'd just get creamed by people who had been playing it way longer than me. And I don't find matchmaking, even if there's MMR, even if there's like leagues, particularly helps because there are so many Smurfs. So I don't know if I just have to learn to defend against cheese better or what it is. There's not really many RTSs out at the moment. Most of the ones that have been coming out are like shitty Kickstarter games that have interfaces that make me want to vomit. And the issue is, I do really enjoy the game. I do really like the game. Maybe I'll try switching to Terran or something like that, and maybe that'll be better. But those are kind of my thoughts on my experience playing StarCraft 2 online. It's really sad because I really want to like the game and I want to get better at it. But I just find when you lose 5 games in a row to Smurfs, it ruins the experience for me. Because you feel like there's nothing you really could have done. And the general response in most of the forums is, get good. You should just be able to be as good as someone who's playing for like 5 years right out of the gate. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on the matter. You're free to agree or disagree, of course. God bless everyone, and I'll talk to you soon.